to show you something.
This is for you. Yeah. She got a smile, got me waiting for the weekend. Couple texts, spend a check, tell her bring a friend. She got a taste on her lips.
La, la, la. Hi, hello, welcome. Thanks for coming. My name is Emily. Welcome to my channel. And this dress today has been a labor of love. I have to be honest, I don't think I've ever felt prettier in my entire life than I do in this dress. If you have been to my channel before, I've been talking about this dress for months now. I think I've put out like a couple things I want to make videos, and I think I've mentioned this dress in 3 of them. So that's like 3 months ago. I think January, I decided I was gonna make this. And I just wanted to run through a couple things before we hop into the video, the inspo, the materials, things like that. So here we go. So I got the inspo for this dress from an Instagram account called Hey A's. I will obviously post her Instagram here. And I absolutely loved it. I was floored. I was enamored. And so I decided to make it myself. She does sell these, so if you love it, but you know you're not gonna make it, I actually think compared to the amount I spent in materials, I think she charges a very reasonable price. So go check out her shop. She makes a bunch of other really unique items. But when I decided I wanted to make this, obviously next step was yarn. And it is made out of like a fuzzy teddy bear yarn. It is phenomenal to say the least. And the only place I could find it was Hobby. And I found like other sites, but then it would always reroute me to Hobby. If there is a place that sells this yarn in the States, that would probably be best because the amount I spent in shipping was gross. So yeah, this is called the Fur Luxe from Hobby, and I used in total 29 skeins, 29. I am pretty tall though, so I needed more because I had to get the length, but I did use 29, and I would have saved a lot of money if I had just bought a large quantity up front, but I did an order of 10, an order of 4, an order of 6, another order of 10. It was not intelligently done, so just for a heads up, they are small, and if you decide to make it, ooh, I got a little text. If you decide to make it, you should just buy a lot right off the bat. Do the math. Let me mute my computer. Oopsie. Anyway, so yeah, 29. If you decide to make it, just buy a bunch up front. Read like the stitch stuff. I don't know. I never do any of that, and I do regret it. And then yeah, this video took me 3 months, and the only other thing I have to say before we get started is the first like few bits where I started, I did it like tutorial style, and then after that I started doing it like figure it out with me style rather than tutorial style. So the video itself is like a little mildly inconsistent, but it's not too bad. It's not too bad. Okay, I promise. It's not that bad. But I did decide not to do it like formal tutorial style after a while because 1, it's not my design, and 2, I was like figuring it out as I go, so it wasn't going to be that great of a tutorial. Yes, I hope you like the video, and let's just start making the most beautiful dress of all time. So I wasn't sure what size hook I wanted to use with this. So I was deciding between the 8mm and the 10mm. The 8mm swatch, I know, swatches guys, I'm such an adult, was a little too stiff for what I wanted. The 10mm swatch was perfectly loose. My biggest concern was too many holes, and it didn't have that. So I decided to go with the 10mm. And then basically I just followed a top-down raglan style for the top of the thing. I really like Erin B's tutorial on this, so I will link that in the description below. But basically I just chained a chain long enough to wrap around my neck and drape the way I would want the neck hole to drape. And then when I had that length, I just slip stitched into the first stitch of that chain. And just, you know, if you make this, do your best to make sure it's not twisted. It is really hard with the fur. If you were to wet my project, it would probably be a nightmare. I actually found halfway through they do recommend to use this yarn damp so you can actually see your stitches, but I didn't do that. And I'm sure I missed a lot of stitches, and I'm sure it was twisted in places, but you honestly can't even tell with the fur. So once you have connected, you want to pinch about an inch in on each side. I don't love estimating. I end up estimating a lot in this video, but here I still counted. So I counted to those like halfway marks and put a stitch marker in at each halfway point. And if you do it this way, these stitch markers don't have to be your good ones. That's why I used a bobby pin, because I couldn't find my other ones. And then from those, I just counted about 5 stitches on each side and put the stitch markers I would be increasing at. Now that all the stitch markers are in, I'm just resuming by putting my hook in that loop that I had. So here I chain 1, turn my work, and I'm putting half double crochets into every single stitch. It looks more complicated in this first row because it's a little harder in the first row, but I actually found this yarn wasn't that hard to work with once you kind of trained your hands how to feel stitches rather than see stitches, which isn't traditionally my skill set. I can't crochet without looking, so I actually learned a lot. And then at the stitch markers, I am increasing at each stitch marker. And if you don't know, an increase is when you put 2 stitches into 1 stitch, and that is an increase. And then after the second stitch, I put the stitch marker back in that increased stitch. And if you are used to doing top-down sweaters via crochet, usually you can see where your increase is, but with this yarn, I would really recommend putting your stitch marker back in, because you're not going to be able to see your increase. I promise you, it is so hard. So then I'm just continuing along around the neck chain that we made, increasing at every single stitch marker. Okay, so this is what it looks like after 2 rows, and you could see it's starting to grow out, which is great. Here I'm still doing what you're supposed to do when you're working in the round, which is slip to join, chain 1, and turn your work. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I think after this row I stopped doing that because I just felt like it wasn't necessary. I felt like it was a lot of extra work. People say it makes your work uneven if you don't do that. I would rather my work be slightly uneven than have like a weird seam in the back, but that is just me, and it is definitely not the proper way to crochet. But I just wanted to be honest with you guys, I definitely did not stick with the proper form of working in the round. So I'm just going around and around and around, increasing at all of the stitch markers. I just wanted to stop and show you, I cannot talk right now. I just wanted to stop and show you kind of how it sits and drapes before we move on to this next part. So this is where I'm gonna stop making the yoke, which is this chunk here. And basically you'll know if it is, you'll know if it's time to stop if it feels like this would be a good spot for like the sleeve. So I wanted it to drape a little bit low, and because the whole thing is kind of like it's gonna be flowy and loose, and this feels like a great spot where some big sleeves would start. But anyway, I don't know if that made any sense, but basically I just wanted to show you what it looks like on right before I start making the bodice. So here it is. It is so soft, guys. It's literally the softest thing ever. I gotta give it to Hobby for this yarn. It's great. Okay, so when you get to one of the stitch markers, what you want to do is remove it and then put the stitch in there that would have gone in there, but only one. So I'm not going to increase at the stitch marker. Instead, I'm actually going to start chaining, and I just had to chain as many chains as necessary until it would drape underneath my armpit and connect to the other side of the yoke. So this number will vary depending on the person. However, I do recommend writing it down so you can make sure you have the same exact amount of stitches on both armholes. So once again, I'm just chaining until I wanted them to be big sleeves, so until it could loosely go under my armpit and to the other side. And then I'm taking that stitch marker off the other side. You can see the armhole there. She's big and girthy. And then I like to put the kind of stitch I'm working with in to connect it. Some people slip stitch. I just joined with a half double crochet, and I don't really know why. And then you're just going to crochet all the way across until the next stitch marker and repeat the process. So chain the same amount of chains as the other side, drape it underneath, and connect it to the other stitch marker. So this is what it looks like after I've made the armholes, and I'm doing half double crochets all the way around, and now I'm literally just gonna go in a circle round and round and round, now using those extra chains, like adding them into my circle. So that's my new base for going around, and literally going in circles until a skirt is made. Around this point, I actually switched to full-on double crochets instead of half doubles. My concern was that it would have a holey texture, but the texture looks exactly the same, and I felt like I was getting more length quicker and with less yarn.
Hold on. I'm jumping over waves for a minimal gaze. Running up the top, but they say it's a phase. Taking down costs like we're spending the day. Making up ground like we paving the way. We don't stop.
Okay, hey guys, so I think I have the length that I want. I'll put it on tomorrow when it's daylight out and explain what I mean, but I'm basically just weaving in and out a strand here so that I can cinch it under the boob a little bit, just to give it some shape so that it's not like a giant fluff sack. So that's all I'm doing right now, and then tomorrow I will put it on and show you what we're working with. Am I in frame? I'm way too lazy to plug in my microphone right now. So if the sound is different for this part than the rest of the video, guys, I don't know what to tell you. I'm sorry. Let me try the dress on and I will show you what I got. Well, before I put it on, I thought I would show you what it looks like. I think after I cinched the waist, it honestly looks so cute. I love her. I like the way she drapes with like the waist pulled in, because it does like this kind of, not like ruffle, but you know what I mean. It looks like a baby doll dress. When I put it on, you'll see why I don't just keep it a short sleeve. I really think it's kind of ugly with the short sleeves. But let me just, okay, I'm gonna put it on. All right, I'm gonna put it on, just stop. Bless you. Stop. Guys. Oh my god. No, this is literally so cute. It's a great length. I was thinking about adding another row, and then I literally cannot use any more yarn on the skirt. Like, I'm done. But I hung it upside down literally like a bat because I noticed it just needed a little help from gravity being pulled, and I'm pretty confident I can't block this because it's not like yarn. It's not gonna block like yarn does. So I'm letting gravity do its thing, but I think it's such like I don't want it longer either. It's a baby doll. Like, if I had it longer, it would literally wear me, and I need to wear it. You know what I mean? So anyway, I feel like it's so cute. All right, I'm in love. I love her. We're getting married. Okay, so guys, I really hope my toilet isn't in. Okay, I'm literally losing my mind. I need a ginger ale. Okay, stop talking. Focus. Okay, so I'm gonna make the sleeves. And the holes are already pretty big, so I'm not going to make them bigger. I'm just gonna let it be that size and then taper at the, what are these called? Wrists. And I am praying, guys, I am not religious, but if I have enough yarn to finish the sleeves, I'll start going to church. I swear to God, because I only have like 3. I think I have 6 skeins left, so I only have 3 for each side. I just don't want to order more, and if I do order more, I'm paying for express shipping. I cannot wait another like 3 weeks to finish this dress. It needs to get done this week. And then I'm obviously gonna make the little daisies, and I'm trying like a couple different ways to make them. And I'm not really enjoying the looks of any of them yet, so I'm still working on that. But I just wanted to show you guys where I am, because for like a while, it was just me literally going around and around and around in a circles on this skirt, so there was like nothing to show. But now that we are done with the base, I just have to add some sleeves and some decorations, girlies. Stop. I'm literally gonna go out to like lunch with my boyfriend and force him to take photos of me. This has been your little update. We're almost there. Okay, so I hooked in at the armpit, right? So like at the base of the armpit, because that's my favorite place to have like a seam or just anything awkward. And I've decided I'm going to do it in double crochet because I honestly regret doing, well, maybe not. Maybe it was a good choice for the top, but I used so much yarn doing half double crochets on the top, and I saved so much yarn and got so much length by doing double crochets on the skirt, like the majority of the skirt. So for the sleeves, I think doing half double crochets will just get me where I need to be faster. It's been a minute, and I'm not wearing makeup because I'm about to put the dress on. And remember I said that I would become a religious person if I had enough yarn? Today's not that day. The sleeves are not long enough. Let me just pop this on and we'll talk about it. Okay, I still love her, but I only got to 3/4 lengths on both sides. And basically my thought process was, ignore the sports bra. I split the yarn I had in half, tried to convince myself I could stretch this to be full length sleeves. Alas, I cannot. So I did have to order more yarn. The last time I worked on this was like 3 weeks ago, and I only ordered 2 more skeins per sleeve. I don't know, I just didn't want to overbuy. And realistically, last time I said that I spent quite a bit on this, it's the shipping. I keep paying for shipping because this is like my 4th order for this yarn. I ordered 2 more for each sleeve. I did take a look back at the reference photo and I noticed that she has it so like it's cinched and then it fluffs a little bit. I think, like I do want that same look. So I think I'm gonna go around and do a decreasing row where I decrease maybe only twice, like once at each half. Make it a little smaller, but not like super small. And then I'll add, similarly to how I added just a, like a strand here and tied it tight to give definition here. Maybe I'll do the same thing on the sleeve to give it that frill look that she has. But I definitely hate 3/4 length sleeves. They're just not my vibe.
Like, it's not the vibe. Stop!
They like remind me of my mom and not really in a great way. So I couldn't leave them like this. I tried to convince myself I couldn't, and that's basically it. So today I'm gonna add the 2 skeins per arm. I am doing a full double crochet on these, so I think 2 should be plenty. I don't know, that does not help you measure. I don't know why I did that. I think 2 should be plenty, fingers crossed. If it's not, I'm not buying more, that's it. And then tomorrow we will work on the appliques and put them on, and then we're done this week. We are done this week with this dress. Okay, so I did like 3 stitches and then switched skeins to the new one. And then I think I'm gonna decrease for a couple rows. Normally I would count, but as we've, shaky. As we have discussed before with this project, I really can't see nor count any stitches, and it's really not that noticeable when you make changes because of the fur. So I always like to go from under the armpit though the best I can, flatten it out, and then I'm just gonna add stitch markers to either side. Okay, so stitch markers are in. As I go, I'm gonna take it out and put the stitch marker right back in. They're pretty wide, so I think maybe I'll decrease for like 3 rows and then I'll probably stop because I still want it to be big. And then I will cinch separately. And I want to go probably to here, like the mid hand. So I have about this far to go. I really hope I bought enough yarn. Okay, so this is what 3 decreasing rows gives me. So I'm trying to like hypothetically see what it would look like scrunched up, right? So this is what it looks like compared to my wrist. So scrunched up, I think it would be a little excessive. So I'm actually going to continue decreasing. Maybe even 3 more times. So a total of 6 decreasing rows. So I'm going to do 3 more decreasing rows, see what it looks like, pop back in, and then probably have to put it on again and see how long it is. Okay, so after 6 decreasing rows, this is our gape now. This is where we started. Now, started. Okay, it is like just a decent length. When I like lay it flat, it touches kind of where I said I want it to. I'm gonna finish the skein, cinch it with a little bit of yarn the weaving way that I did the waistband, which I can show, and then do the same exact thing to the other arm, and then use the 2 skeins I have left to add just a little more length. That way nothing is wasted. So, both sleeves are done. I keep giving them a little stretch, but I'm not relying on the stretch fashion. So now I have a little strand ready to go. I'm just gonna take this off, and the same way I weaved this, like, isn't my waist, the bust band, I guess. I'm gonna go through and weave into the sleeves, probably pretty tightly actually, and then fan it out, and hopefully I get that look that I want. And then I'm gonna add 2 more skeins to the skirt. Maybe, I don't know, I kind of like the length. No, I think I'll keep it how it is. So then should I add another row to the sleeves? Because I have the yarn. Yeah, I think I'm going to. I'm gonna add, maybe I'll just split one though. I'm gonna make them a little longer. I changed my mind. So then the next time you see me, I will have added half to each side, and I will show you the cincheroo process. Just because I like the length short. It's already like a heavy dress. If I make it long, it'll be like too much, you know? Okay, so I added just a few more rows, like that much, and I didn't really count, which I may regret later, and by may I probably will, but whatever. I've been finding it hard to count, and I've been working on this project for so long, guys. So anyway, I'm also gonna eyeball how far in I want the strap to be. Or like not strap, but you know, the cinching. I did thread a needle this time. Last time I just took my hook and pulled through, but I'm feeling lazy and I already had the needle. And I want to start under the armpit, which is why I'm pivoting. Okay, so I'm gonna eyeball it like that much. And then all I'm gonna do is weave in and out of stitches. And just make sure that my tail end is staying nowhere near the end, which it's not going to. My tail is really long. And then I'm just gonna go all the way around and try to maintain a straight line. And it probably won't be perfect, but again, this fabric is so forgiving because it's so fluffy, you can barely see anything.
Don't stop living that lifestyle. Feeling this way, it's been a while. I'm always feeling like there's something on the go. Always in my head like I left it on the stove. You know one day gon' flash in a minute. The lights turned on and the next you gon' miss it. Rolling on through should be something so different. I'm bouncing on by, walk hop in those digits. Freestyle like I'm on top of a wave. Someone coming live, so get out my way. Grab another drink, so check out my sway.
Okay, so I've met up back where I started. And I'm gonna tie them while I'm wearing it so I could feel how tight I really want it to be. And I'm just gonna go ahead and weave the other side and then put it on and we could tie them together. I feel like I'm getting birthed out of a flamingo. Okay, shimmy, shimmy. Oh, great. So here you can see how I tied, oh my God. Okay, you can see how I tied the bust band, I guess that's what we're calling it. And this is gonna be the same exact process. Oh, yeah, I like where I put it, so that was lucky. So I'm just kind of gonna feel how tight I really want it to be. And my hand has to be able to get in and out, but I don't mind if I have to do like a lobster claw to get it in and out, because I want it to be like defined. And we're finally done with the dress. Okay, well, like not the whole dress, but the biggest, most time-consuming part of it is done. I'm gonna show you how I decided to make the flowers because, like usual, it's a combo of tutorials. So, I need to do my nails. I'm not gonna force you to look at these. So tomorrow we'll do flowers, we'll sew them on, and then we'll do final looks. And that'll be it. Oh my god, 3 months of labor almost complete. Okay, so today should be and will be the last day of working on this dress. It has been months in the making, but today we move on to the flowers. So if you recall what the original dress looks like, it's not just a big furry pink dress. It has these cute little crocheted daisies. Are they daisies? Daisies? I'm gonna call them daisies on them. And after some troubleshooting, I did figure out how to make them. So I'm gonna show you just one, and then I will put you out of your misery because I do not enjoy that. I am not enjoying making them. I find them like mildly frustrating, and I get very annoyed. I keep looking at the pile. That's like what I'm looking at. I get very annoyed when they're not perfect. And I don't think I've made a perfect one yet, so they've all annoyed me so far. But before I finish off the video, I just wanted to say thank you so much for 300 subscribers. Last week I made a video that was a fail, so I didn't end up posting it. But I was thanking everybody for 200 subscribers, and less than a week later we are here at 300. So I just wanted to say thanks so much for the support. It makes me very excited to keep making things. And yeah, I'm like a little awkward at thank yous, but thank you. I appreciate it. And if you've made it this far and you're not subscribed, perhaps consider it, please. Yeah, but anyway, I just wanted to say thank you so much to everybody who likes and subscribes, and especially those who comment, because I love to talk to you guys, and I love the feedback, and I love the responses, and I'm a little bit addicted to it all. So again, I'm gonna move on, but thank you so much. So I'm not sure how many I'm gonna need. This is what I have so far. I have like 15 maybe, and this is what they look like. Let me pick out one that I don't hate. They're kind of cute. They're kind of cute. And I've made them each like a little bit different, but I think I finally figured out a way that not only annoys me the least, but looks the best. Okay. Let's stop here. I'm gonna show you how I make them. I just painted my nails and I did not get rid of the crusty bits that I got on my fingers, okay? I warned you. So let me just show you what we're working with. Okay, so I have a yellow and a white, and the yellow is for the middles and the white is for the petals. See, cute, we love. So the yellow we do last, and I'm using a 5mm hook. So I'm gonna start with a magic circle, and I might not do these correctly, but it works for me, so this is how I do it. The working yarn is over top, go underneath, pick it up, and then use the working yarn to create a loop there. I'm really not the one to teach a magic circle, but there are hundreds of YouTube tutorials. Oh my gosh, what am I doing on it? So you could just look that up. Okay, so from here, you want to do the amount of stitches into the hoop that you want petals. So I want 5 petals. So I'm gonna go pull up a loop, and I do these really loosely, and you'll see why later. So that's 1, 2. So now I'm gonna pull that tail, closing the loop, cross her over, and I'm gonna connect the last stitch to the first stitch. Just by slip stitching together. Okay, So from here, I'm going to chain up 3. So every tutorial of this that I saw said that the length of your chain is how long the petal's going to be. But I found that even if I made more chains, my petals didn't get any longer. So I don't know if that's probably a me problem, but whatever. So I just stick with 3. I like how the 3 looks. So then what you want to do is yarn over, go through that loop that you just slip stitched into, pull up a loop and pull it long as your chain. And you're going to do that 10 times into the same loop. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So the reason I don't find these enjoyable is because I really struggle to get those 10 loops, but anything less and you're not going to have a full petal. And then the reason you want your original stitches into the magic circle to be really loose and like a little wider is because if you make them small and tight, it's going to be really hard to get all 10 loops of your petal in there. So then after you have all 10 on your hook, you're just going to yarn over, pull through to the other side, and then slip stitch at the top, and I pull it as tight as I can. And then you're going to chain the same amount, 1, 2, 3, that you did in the beginning. Okay, so then from here, right next to it, that loop there, I'm gonna do the same exact thing. So yarn over, pull up loop 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yarn over, pull all the way through to the other side, slip stitch, try to hold it tight, and then chain 3. Okay, and from the front, you can start to see it coming together. Don't worry about this for right now. And I'm gonna go ahead and do the next 4 petals. It's just a repeat all the way around. Not 4, 3 more petals. I can't do basic math. And I'll meet you when I've done all 5 petals, but it's the same exact process into each of those stitches. Okay, so I've done 5 petals. This loop here is from that, the tail for the circle, so I'm just gonna pull that through. I slip stitched and made 3 chains just like with every other loop. And then for this one, there's that little gap there, right? That looks like a loop. And I'm just gonna go in and slip stitch to join. Oh my God. Okay. That last loop to the first one, like that. And then I just chain 1 and pull nice and tight. Let me find my scissors. And you don't need to cut a super long tail, but I'm not sure how I'm gonna connect them yet, so I'm leaving a decent tail just in case that's how I decide to connect it to the dress. I don't know. Haven't gotten that far. Okay. Then I want to take the original tail from the magic circle and just pull it to tighten that ring in the middle. There we go. And then you can fluff them so that they make a little more sense. See, voila. Okay, so now the center, I'm gonna put this over there. Okay, so I've seen it where people hook the center or like make the center by hooking into the actual flower, but every time I do that, I like mutilate the flower. So I've actually decided to make them individually on their own, kind of by doing the same process but with only one stitch. So I'm gonna make the magic loop. Okay, and then I'm just gonna make one stitch into the loop, like kind of loosely, and pull the loop tight. There might be a smarter way to do this, but I don't know it. Okay, so now I'm gonna chain 3. All right, and then into that loop I made in the circle, I'm gonna yarn over, pull up a loop, pull it high, and do that 10 times. Okay, so I could actually only get 7 on, but that's fine. So I'm just gonna do the same exact thing. So just again, I only did 7, that's not 10, but I'm gonna yarn over, pull through, and then slip stitch up. And then this time I'm just gonna chain 1, and that's it. That's the whole center of the flower. So I'm gonna pull through that chain 1. Okay. And then I try to get it so that the braided part kind of sits on the bottom. So now I just want to take one of each side and put it through each side of the flower here. Just pull through one side. The only thing with the hook is just make sure you don't catch any of the petals, because you will regret it. And then here on the other side, I'm just gonna put it through, not the center hole, but whatever that other loop connects to. Okay, and then when you pull it nice and tight, voila, that's the flower. And I just tie it in a knot in the back, like nothing fancy. So I took those 2 extra white strands and I kind of just wove them through those loops that hang back. And then when you pull them forward, you can't really see them. And then I'm thinking these are the strings I'll use to connect it to the dress, but I'm not sure yet. Okay, so here is our beautiful dress, and here are our little thingies. And so I did go ahead and I weaved in, like I said before, all of those loops to the strings. And I do think my plan is to just use the strings to tie it into the dress, because I don't think it needs to be any fancier than that.
This is for you. Yeah. She got a smile, got me waiting for the weekend. Couple texts, spend a check, tell her bring a friend. She got a taste on her lips like a sweet blend. Leaving work early just to see you again. Like I got somebody, let them all know like a blue confetti. What you got, little Niles gon' get 'em. Top 10 billboards already read it now. Oh, what you know, where the kitties at, walking up on the toes. What you say when the living don't stop, I be making my way, yeah. So what you wanna when you wanna say, she'll laugh right back and pass one. So what you wanna when you wanna say, she'll laugh right back and pass one. Go get 'em, go get 'em, go get 'em, go get 'em. Break it out like girl can act, bring it on up like damn that.